Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I am in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm at the Texas FFA Convention. Let me tell you, I come here every year, one of my favorite times of the year. Get to meet with the Texas FFA members, and let me tell you, this next guest, a return guest, might be a two-time return guest, I think so, and a lot of fun. I'm always learning about Ducks Unlimited. I got my original membership through this gentleman, Tom. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
You are how are you feeling? You're a veteran on the show now.
Oh, yeah. I think I could syndicate it or something now. So, yeah.
You're like, where's my check, man?
Yeah,
I've been on your show.
Where's my commission?
Always goes back to that. With
Money.
Gotta watch it. So for those that maybe haven't caught some of our previous work together, let's just go back in time a little bit. Tell us how you got involved with Texas FFA and FFA in general.
Well, of course, I got involved with the FFA when I was in high school, but, once you graduate senior, you're kind of done with the FFA.
Were you legacy or were you first in your family? Like, how did...
No, I had a brother and sister. Actually, my dad was also in the FFA.
Wow.
That would have been like in the 40s, maybe?
Yeah.
40s, early 50s,
Old school.
something like that. Yeah. So he was in the FFA, too. Was in the calf scramble in Houston, at the Rodeo Houston. But, yeah, my brother and sister also went up through the program.
Yeah.
And so when I got into high school, I automatically entered it. It wasn't available in junior high at that time. So I enrolled in it whenever I was a freshman and stayed in it through high school.
Yeah.
And, like I said, once you kind of get out of high school, you're pretty much done. So flash forward many years, I got involved with Ducks Unlimited and eventually got tapped as the state youth and education chairman. And I was floundering on what to do, what to get involved with as far as trying to get out our message and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of went back to my roots to FFA, started doing some checking, got in touch with Aaron Alejandro and had a conversation with him. And that was, I think our first convention was in 2016. And pretty much the rest has been history. I mean, this has been our best year ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As far as, it takes a while to break into the teachers. The kids are always changing, but the teachers stay the same. And so they're very protective over those kids,
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so it's took about 9 years to break into that. And so, but this year has been our best show. Of course, last year we had the hurricane down in Houston. I think you were there too.
I was there.
And the resilient of those kids and the teachers to keep coming, even though there was no food, no water, no electricity. They still brought those kids to the convention. That was huge.
And they made the best of it.
Oh,
I still remember they were in some were in trucks, like we were in hotels,
sleeping.
and I got fortunate. I was in a hotel that still had electricity, but there were many others that didn't. They still stayed. They made the best of it. They got water. There were even members out there cleaning debris from the streets. I was just amazed.
It was incredible that they even were able to pull that off. But hats off to them.
Name any other convention you could think of. I don't know, but my sport when I was in finance or this or that, we'd be like, "Are you kidding me? We'd go home." Like, I'm not going.
We're done. No food, no YC. We're out.
Yeah, it's done. Whatever. Not happening next year.
That's exactly right. But they made lemonade out of lemons on that, and so that my hat was off to them for that. But this year was everybody bounced back. Of course, Fort Worth is our favorite place to come. Yeah. It's very quiet and clean, plenty of place to eat. You don't have to really get in your vehicle once you get here.
Yeah, I do like that out of this one. Yeah. How do you define, by the way, I want to make sure I understand. When you say it's your best and you're working more with teachers, the importance of that, there's going to be many ag teachers that watch this and they're going to see this as well, because I know Aaron and the FFA Foundation do distribute this among their network.
Right.
So what does that mean, the importance of those partnerships?
Many years ago, when I first got involved, our organization, Ducks Unlimited, we really didn't have anything to offer. We were floundering as an organization to connect with the youth. And so once I got involved with the FFA, I met and was introduced to ICEV, who handles a lot of the certifications that these teachers use throughout the United States. And so I approached them and talked to them about developing one for Ducks Unlimited as far as a wildlife certification. Yeah. And wildlife in Texas was the fourth number 4 out of 52 classes they could choose to teach. That wildlife was number 4.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
And it was the only one that didn't have a certification.
Wow.
So I approached them, and they were ready to do it. And so I go to Ducks Unlimited, and of course they had tried so many things that had failed. I had to Tom Johnson style them, just take the bull by the horns.
What does Tom Johnson style mean?
Well, no is not in my vocabulary when it should be yes.
Yes.
So I got a meeting with the heads up at Ducks Unlimited, got them all on the phone together. They were all in a car traveling somewhere, and told them the spiel, and they said set up a meeting, and the rest is history. So we launched that certification in October of 19. Of course, COVID hit. So for 2 years, nothing was happening anywhere in the United States with certifications, but we kept working with ICV behind the scenes to get approved in the states, because you have to get the State Board of Education to approve your certification for it to be used in the classroom. So we worked on that a lot, and flash forward to, I got an email in January from ICEV that told us that our certification was now, out of 254, I think, certs that they handled, ours was number 1.
What?
By double what number 2 was.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is, especially that little short of time.
Yeah.
So we were able to have something for the teachers to use in the classroom. We have an approved certification. So then we came up with a couple of fundraisers for the fishing teams are beginning to get big, and then shooting sports, archery, target shooting, shotgunning.
And as you say this in retrospect, to me, that seems obvious. Nothing's ever easy, but it's like, of course, I would like a fishing cert, this, that. Like these are things that people, if they have an affinity for it anyway, they're going to be doing.
Right. And the fishing and shooting sports has grown huge throughout the United States. So what we done is we took our buying power, because we buy so much merchandise for our fundraising. So we took that buying power knowledge and we offered it to those teams at no cost. They pay for the merchandise, but we furnish them with the tickets and everything. And all the money they make, they can use in their chapter to help fund their events and stuff, shells, whatever they need. So there's 2 more things that we we're able to offer to the school. And then a few years ago here in Texas, I started a program that I called Project Partner Program, where the Ag Mech classes can build a fire pit or something, and we invite them to bring it to one of our local DU chapters. We auction that off in the live auction, and most of the time we wind up giving them all the proceeds for it. Sometimes they give us all the proceeds for it, and sometimes we split the proceeds for it. But that is taking off like wildfire. Again, we started here in Texas, and after the National FFA Convention, they're going to launch that nationally. So we actually now, we went from having nothing to offer to the ag teachers or to FFA. Now we have several programs to offer them.
What I think about is so interesting about this too is it's so future forward from the standpoint of if you think about like some of the nuts and bolts when it comes to certifications and like gaming, video games, e-games, esports. Like they're doing that in esports. All these other things. How come we can't do that in hunting and fishing? Especially considering, and this is maybe a misconception if you didn't grow up in hunting families or in fishing families, that and maybe this would be a good transition to talk about Ducks Unlimited a little bit, is that for those that are maybe on the outside of those industries, sometimes there's some misconceptions that and they don't really understand that these tie you to the land in conservation specifically, because you want to conserve the resources, the natural resources, to be even able to participate in the sport. So maybe a little bit of education on just the overall Ducks Unlimited would be helpful.
Well, a lot of people think that Ducks Unlimited is an apparel store. You see a duck head on things. Or they,
well, it's great branding. When I grew up, I mean, it's a beautiful brand. It's a beautiful logo. It feels cool. I mean,
they think we're a hunting organization.
Cabela is related. I don't know. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. They think we're a hunting organization, but in reality, we are the world's leader in wetlands conservation.
Yes.
And, of course, we don't just do wetlands, though, but that affects all wildlife. It affects so many things when you do water conservation. drought is bad up in the Panhandle, where they're dealing with aquifers drying up, and a lot of it's because in the past we didn't do good management practices. We drained the playa lakes that used to catch water and let it soak in. But we're learning from our past. But as far as Ducks Unlimited as an organization, that's what we do. We are able to take 88 cents of every dollar we receive through fundraising and use it on projects on the ground. And nobody can get close to us with that kind of a number. And we do projects from Canada, United States, down into Mexico. Most of it is in wintering grounds and in nesting grounds. And we don't do a lot in between because the birds are just passing through. But where they nest and where they winter is where we do most of our work there. But it's the hunting part of it, as far as, how does it affect agriculture? Well, those that farm and ranch their own land look for every avenue of income they can. And a lot of them lease their lands for hunting and fishing. So if they have good wildlife on there, they're able to capitalize on that income with more money. So if they know how to manage their wildlife, that's an asset that's already there, a natural asset. They just need to manage it properly. And if they do that, then that's an extra income on top of their farming and ranching operation. So it works hand in hand. And I had one of the ag teachers, first time we come up here, they asked me, he said, what are y'all doing here? They wouldn't be mean or anything. It was just a question.
Education.
What do you have to offer us? And I told them, I said, y'all have about, at that time, I said, y'all have about 750,000 members. And I said, we have 750,000 members. I said, but you know the difference between the two? And they said, well, no, I don't guess I do. I said, well, ours vote. Yours don't. And I said, that little thing called a farm bill that affects all the farmers and ranchers? I said, we are 750,000 voters that fight for that farm bill. I said, so it behooves y'all to work with us and vice versa on it. And say, light bulb goes off then. I see now. Okay.
Dang, that's a better answer. When they asked me, what am I doing here? I was like, Aaron Alejandro invited me.
I got invited by Aaron. I really don't know.
Okay, good enough. Now I know 4 years later. I know 4 years later, but year one, I was like, I don't know. They said I interview Tom.
Right. So we feel like we feel like the kids of the FFA are our future.
They are.
And a big part of it. And so we feel like that's the best place for us to concentrate our education and partnership efforts is with them. And so that's what we're doing.
So yourself personally, what keeps you going and motivated into this work? I know you're a successful entrepreneur. You don't have to do any of this. I know this is a big part of your give back and philanthropy. What keeps you going?
It's anytime you're doing something good and you see progress, you see that needle moving. It wants you to. For me, anyway, it just feeds more and more and more. And to come here and see the kids and interact with them and stuff. I love messing with you, picking on them here and stuff, and I love it. But just to know that what I'm doing is moving the needle, and that in future years it will pay off big. I was teasing one of the girls that works for Ducks Unlimited last night. I said, the thing about Ducks Unlimited is you talk to them about a 5-year plan, that's stretching it because we're funding based. If we don't have the money, we can't. But I told them, I said, I look at us as the 20 and 30-year plan. I said, because these kids that we're impacting today with our logo and telling them what we do and stuff, I said, they're 15. Give them 20, 30 years when they're in their 30s and 40s. I said that then they start having a little more income. They want to get involved a little more. And
they're voting. They're voting.
And I said,
if that compounds.
That's right. If they hear about or get invited to one of our events, they'll have a good memory of us and want to get involved. I said, so we are the 20, 30-year plan for Ducks Unlimited.
Amazing.
So,
as always, Tom, awesome having you on the show. Last thing I want you to do, look into the camera. How do people follow Ducks Unlimited? How do they get involved? The programs? Anything else you want to say? How do people do it?
Very simple. They can go to ducks.org. They can Google www.ducksunlimited, and that'll take you to our website that has all the information on it. You can choose state by state. It'll tell you when we have events, keep you up to date on national news that's going on and everything. But just go to our website.
Amazing. And for everybody watching at home, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Tom, man, so much fun having you back.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.